You're listening to Served Up, a podcast that features inspiring beverage professionals and topic experts that share their passions through meaningful conversations. I'm your host, Bridget Albert, also known as a Market Fresh Mixologist, an industry mentor with decades of experience. Grab a cocktail and sit back. Let's learn how we can make a positive impact in our industry. Hey, y'all, it's Bridget here. Today, we're joined by somebody truly inspiring, my friend Josh Davis, the founder of Brown and Balanced. Josh has an incredible story of personal growth, overcoming challenges, and making pivotal decisions that set him on a path to success. He'll share how he turned his life around through determination and commitment, and how that journey led him to create Brown and Balanced, a platform that celebrates the richness and diversity of Black culture. But that's not all. Josh also has some exciting news to share. He's launching a brand new podcast that's sure to make waves. So whether you're here to hear about his journey, the story behind his company, or to learn more about his new podcast venture, you're in for an inspiring conversation. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a sidecar cocktail, and enjoy this very special episode. Josh, welcome to Served Up. I am really excited to have you back on the show. It's your second time.
Second time. I know it feels like, I think I was like, the third guest? I think you guys had third or fourth, something like that. Way back in the pandemic days.
Absolutely. And it's time that we have like a proper catch up. And
absolutely.
You know, back in the pandemic days, we were really focusing on all that great work that you do. And I still want to talk about that. But, you know, for today's purpose, I would really love our listeners to get to know Josh Davis, because you do have an inspiring story to share. And I think it'll give a lot of folks the courage and the kind of that oomph, right? That push that they might need to jump into the beverage space or into whatever their heart wants to do. So let's start off. Where are you from, Josh?
Oh, man. All right.
What was it like growing up there? Let's just paint that picture.
This is a good story. I am a proud resident of the South Side of Chicago. Was born in St. Bernard Hospital. A lot of people in Chicago know that's not the best hospital to be born at, but hey, you know, they produced at least one gym out of everybody that came through there. My story is kind of different. Unfortunately, you know, my birth parents were not able to take care of me. So I ended up being put up for adoption. I was in the system for a little time, and I met the amazing George Davis and Deborah Davis, and they took me into their home and they raised me and made me into the man I am today. So I, you know, eternally thankful to them both for that sacrifice they made to take someone else's responsibility and make it their own. Grew up in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood for a few years. My dad, you know, worked for CTA forever. As long as I can remember, I remember seeing that badge and, you know, him driving the buses and taking us out on the buses to hang out with him when I had days off of school. And sometimes when he let me cut here and there, nobody tell my mother. He used to take us out. That's how I learned the city, and I learned how to move around the city, you know, without a car, without a vehicle. So if I ever was without one, I was never too far away from being lost. My mom was a school teacher, and we moved from the city out to the suburbs. It was a great migration of people when they, in the late 80s, actually mid to late 80s, where a lot of Black families started moving out of the city because it was getting a little rough on the south side. So they was moving out to the south suburbs, west suburbs, you know, Harvey, South Holland, Dalton. All those places were kind of underdeveloped at the time, and they were starting to build and grow. So it was a great opportunity for a lot of Black families to either get out of an apartment or get out of a renting situation, actually own their own home. So I'm South Side, but I still claim Harvey too, because that gave me the better part of my school years, elementary through junior high school. I spent it there, and it was a wonderful time. We were the second Black family on our block. My friend Veronica, we're actually still friends to this day. She lived right across the street from us. That was like my first friend in life. And we're still friends to this day. And yeah, it was a great experience growing up out there because I was able to have the suburban, quote unquote, kind of living. And then I still was able to come back to the city to visit all my friends and family in the city almost damn near every weekend. So that's where it started. I don't know what you give me some specifics. Like you know how me and you talk, you know what I mean?
So, that's kind of like your early childhood. Yeah. And then take us up to the point where you moved into the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I came back to the city at 18, 19. Came back into the city. Actually got married at a very young age. I don't think you knew that about me. I got married at a really, really young age to my oldest son's mother. And we lived back in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. Ironically, we lived one block over from the house that my parents originally bought.
Really?
Yeah, we lived one block over on 91st and Laughland. And at the time, I was getting into some trouble. I was doing some things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And fortunately, we have my oldest son, he'll be 23 this year, which is still like, I think about Paige and Josiah like they were babies. And now they're like, your daughters are doing amazing things, by the way.
Well, so are your kiddos.
Thank you. Yeah. We had JoJo and I was like, okay, I got to make some different decisions. I got to figure out, what direction I want my life to go into. I can't keep doing some of the things I'm doing now because it's going to be a dead end situation. And I have to provide for him. Ironically, because I was adopted, I never wanted kids. But then once I had him, that was it. I was like, I gotta change. I gotta figure it out. So I started working at Foot Locker because I'm a sneakerhead. You know that about me. I'm sneakers all day long. And I was downtown, one of my best friends who unfortunately passed on now. And we were walking past the Foot Locker on State Street. And he was like, hey, man, they looking for assistant managers and managers. Give it a shot. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to try it. I walked in, applied, got the job 2 weeks later. And I spent the better part of 7 years managing different stores in the city of Chicago and in the suburbs. And it was a great run. It was a good time. Made a lot of really good friends, a lot of people that I'm still friends with to this day. That was almost 20 some years ago that I was there, raising the kid. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last, but that's because Josh was young and dumb. and Josh made some mistakes, but it's all good. You learn from them. Yeah. But we were able to still be good parents. Like that was the one thing that I always appreciated. Like even though we had a lot of turmoil between the two of us, because I was 21, 22. She was like 24.
You're just a baby, man.
We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah.
Just a baby.
Yeah. We had no idea what we was really doing, Yeah. And then also when you're that young, you're not as emotionally mature as I am now at 45. Like I get married now at 45 and I'll be okay. But back then, conflict resolution wasn't my strongest suit. So we were still able to be parents. And then, as I started to grow in the company, I moved up, I was managing stores and I just saw a ceiling, right? Like I just saw I can only go so far. I could be a district manager and probably make really good money, but my personality, which it'll tie into finding my adoptive family later on in my story. My personality is really competitive and also I know there's more out there and I just want to experience everything. Like I never want to be the guy. And no disrespect to people who do it, but just work a 9 to 5 for 40 years and work for a pension. Like my dad did it and he raised the family on it and much respect to it. It's just, I think I grew up in that generation of us that we wanted to do a little bit more than just that. Like we wanted to see what's in the world. I didn't want a boss. I didn't want someone that told me what to do that probably doesn't know as much as I know. So let me figure out what else is out there. I was a nightlife guy in the clubs, partying, hanging out. Part of why the marriage didn't work. But that was me. I was an outside guy and I wanted to do that. And one of my really good friends did security at a few different bars and stuff. And he hired me on as a security guard. And that was my intro into the hospitality space. I was a security guard for about a year, did a lot of spot events, did some private security, did security at a few nightclubs. And it was fun. But I was like, okay, now what's next? Like, I don't want to just get up, go to work at 7 p.m, probably beat somebody up and then go home. Like it's got to be more to this space than that. And one night, by God's grace, I got thrown behind the bar. We were short a couple of bartenders that night, and the owner was like, "Hey man, you got a good personality, man. Just look, I'm gonna throw you on the slow bar in the back of the room, give you a server, you'll be fine." I've never made that many drinks to this day, 20 years later. Since then, like, and I didn't know what I was doing. I think I told the story on the first episode.
I think
like,
you did too.
Yeah, when the Long Islands were in 750s, and they were already pre-made, so everybody got that night. So I made some money, so everybody had a good time. And after that, I was like, wow, this bar thing is kind of cool. Let me just let's explore it. Got into bartending school, which I know a lot of people in our industry shit on, but bartending school helps. It has a purpose. It taught me a lot of speed. It taught me how to organize myself behind the bar. So for somebody who's never been, around the industry like myself, it had a lot of advantages. So anybody out there that's listening, don't let anybody tell you don't go to bartending school. It's an avenue and it's a way, yes, you're not going to learn the classics. You're not going to learn, a lot of things that, we know now out here, but you're going to learn how to basically just get behind the bar and be confident in yourself. So
yeah, you might learn how to free pour.
You definitely gonna learn how to free pour because there's not a jigger in sight
right
at bartending school. So it helps you. I always look at the guys like Steve Schneider and them guys that all they did is free pour.
Right.
And I'm like, I understand why they got it. So, I did that and got lucky, got a job, met a young lady in class, my friend Nico, who again friends still to this day. She was a friend of someone who was opening a bar. And they want to hire her as a bartender. And me and her were like study buddies in bartending school. And she was like, we need a guy that works at the bar. You want to come out and do it? And I was like, shit, yeah, why not? All right, cool. I got a job fresh out of bartending school. Also, everybody listening, that does not always happen. So don't.
No, it's not.
That does not always happen. My life has always been a lot of me being in the right place at the right time. And also me just being a genuine type person. Like what you see is what you get with me. You're not really going to get anything other than what I give you. And, I under promise, over deliver most of the time. So, we started working there. Shout out to the Players Club. Unfortunately, that building is not there anymore. They tore it down. We had a nice little 2-year run, but it was in the south suburbs of Chicago, not far from where I grew up in Calumet City. And the liquor laws changed around 2000. I think 2007, 2008, like the liquor laws in the south suburbs changed for bars because all the bars were starting to have a lot of issues, a lot of violence, fights, and it was just a lot of mess going on. So all the, the little aldermen and representatives was like, they banned bars being open past 2 a.m. for a while. So
is that helpful though? I mean, did that stop the violence? I mean, what's why is 2 a.m. the magic hour?
Well, yes and no, right? It helped a little bit. Like it wasn't nightclubs. It wasn't as prevalent because that nightclub lifestyle. After midnight, it's 1:30 and last call comes. Everybody's trying to rush and drink as much as they can before the lights go up. So then, and then nightclub culture. It's a very like high energy. It's a lot of girls and guys, and it's just a lot of energy in the room. And that was around the time like bottle service started being a thing. So then all the guys was doing bottle wars. Like I've seen guys like order 5, 6, 7, 10 bottles for their section because they don't want to be outdone by somebody else. Like our black culture at that time was going through a shift. And like I could see it in the nightclubs and stuff I was hanging out in and being around. I was like, oh yeah, this is getting different. And so when you add alcohol to a high energy, to a lot of testosterone, bad things can happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I was glad. One time I was really glad I was out of the security game by then because I was seeing security guards having issues in clubs like they never had before. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So they was like, we're going to start closing. Bars have to close at 12 and we didn't open until 7. So you think about a bar being open from 7 to midnight.
And people don't go out until like 10 or 11.
10 or 11. I've never left the house before 11:30, 12 o'clock.
No, okay.
So it's like by the time we open, we got to close. So unfortunately, the owner, she ended up losing the space. Luckily, she's got back on her feet. She's a caterer, one of the biggest caterers in Las Vegas right now. So I'm really happy for her. And she's doing her thing. And I just, at that time, I'm like, what are we going to do? Because now, at this time, my daughter is on the way. Her mother was about 6 or 7 months pregnant. Now I had no job. So I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Don't want to make the mistakes I used to make. And don't want to get into that life that I used to get into because it's real easy to fall back into, old habits. And then I met you. Actually, no, I met Danny, I met DDO, and I met Charles and Todd Apple. And then I met you because I enrolled in the Academy of Spirits. And then life's been great ever since.
It's just such a crazy time. Like you could have gone a totally different way.
Man. And I was on the way. I was not far. Like if I would have made a couple of decisions I wanted to make, we probably would have never met. We'd have never met because I would have been in some shit. Yeah. Because I was like, I got a kid that's like 5'6", and I'm trying to support him. Now I have another one that's on the way. I'm trying to support her mother. I'm like, my stress level was so high. And I was talking to my dad at the time, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, I was like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, I do not want to walk into some doors that I used to and start hanging with some guys that I used to because I know what that's going to lead to, because I'm also not the type of person that does something once and walks away from it. Like I got to see it all the way through. And I just knew that I wasn't going to see my kids anymore if I kept, making some decisions and started doing some things. And that my children are the most important thing in the world to me. That's without them, I wouldn't be here. So they saved my life in a sense, you know what I mean? And it would have been bad. Like I met my biological family a few years later, and my older brother, unfortunately has been locked up since 1998.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we never met personally. Like we didn't know each other, but we knew of each other, but didn't know we were brothers.
How'd you know of each other?
So where he would be hanging at, I knew some of the guys in that area.
Okay.
Some of his buddies knew some of my buddies.
Got it.
So we kind of knew of each other because all they was like, man, y'all look just alike. And nobody knew we were actually brothers because
really,
in the street side of things, we were on different sides. So
you're on different sides. Oh my God.
So our interaction wouldn't have never really been good if we met at that time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's my older brother. So it's funny when we first met, I first met my biological family in 2013. The first time I got on the phone with my brother, we got to talking in the facility he was in. He was actually locked up with one of my friends.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was locked up with one of the guys I went to high school with.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
really?
I sent him some pictures. Like me, the kids, and the other partner he saw, I don't want to say their names because I'm like, they don't.
No, don't say their names.
Yeah, but he saw the picture and was like, yo, how you know Josh? And he's like, that's my brother. He was like, how's that your brother? Because he was like, wait, I remember Mr. Davis. And I'm like, how's that your brother? And then he broke the whole story down to him. So
you guys are on, we'll call it opposite sides of the streets and then a front. That's wild.
Yeah.
Did they become friends?
Yeah, they were cool. They actually still serving time together. They both got moved to a medium security. At that time, they were in a maximum security facility. Now they're in the medium. I actually went to go visit my brother for the first time in December on his birthday.
Wow. How was that?
It was great. It was the first time we ever able to hug and touch each other. Like, because the first time I visited him, we were behind the glass and we had to use the phone. And this time I surprised him, me and Jasmine. Hey, baby. Shout out to Jasmine.
Hey, baby. I love her.
We drove down. He's about 3 hours away. He's an hour from St. Louis. So I actually passed your house on the way down. I said, if I need a bathroom break on the ride.
Oh, yeah. If you need any.
Call Bridget. Yeah.
My house.
We drove down and he didn't know I was coming. He actually, it's funny, we talked to each other at a certain time when he can make phone calls. So I always block out a couple of hours during my day in case he can call me during that time. And he actually called me and was like, hey, man, what you doing? I said, oh, man, me and Jasmine, we just rolling around, man, running errands. Happy birthday, bro. Gave him all that. He's like, well, I can't stay on the phone long. I just wanted to say, hey, what's up? I said, all right, cool. I was about an hour away from the facility. And then we get there, check-in takes forever. So for everybody out there that goes to visit their family, that's in those situations, man, God bless y'all, because it's a process. It's a long, tough process just to get visitors and to be able to get into the facility. And we got there and they called him down. He had no idea it was me, and surprised him. He walked in the room And it was funny, Jasmine, she's like, I looked at y'all when y'all it looked like looking at the same person. Like we looked that much alike.
Wow.
And yeah, it was the first time we was able to give each other a hug ever in life, man. And it was that made my whole Christmas. I feel like that. I didn't get anything for Christmas because, kids, but I got to see my brother on his birthday. So
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I know we shared a story. I don't remember when it was, but I had a friend who served for 30 years. He was released last year. And, I know we talked about, prison reform and how hard it is for anybody to get a job once they have that felony attached to them. Like it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And it's not fair. Sucks. And it's not right. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, considering there's a felon in the highest office in the land.
Oh, my
I don't want to get political, but...
No, we can. We totally can. It's fucked up. It's like, why...
What the fuck? Like, I really want that to be taken off of every job application ever again.
I agree.
Because, there's a lot of good people in this world that, because of their circumstances, they had to do what they had to do. I never judge anybody unless you hurt children or you hurt animals, you hurt old people. Then I have a problem. But if you are in a situation where you're in the inner city, and let's keep it real, you look like me. In some places, there aren't a lot of options. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just do what you have to do to survive.
Right.
I'll never judge anybody for, stepping outside the lines or coloring outside the lines to protect or to provide for their family and things like that, especially when you have all these rich oligarchs out here just robbing people every day and nobody says anything.
Well, they're rich white oligarchs.
I know.
It makes no sense to me. Hands are sweaty right now because I'm so mad. I don't get it. And I don't judge anybody for anything. It's funny. My stress level has been so high. It's like he's only been in the office a week, and like the news cycle is back up. So I'll never forget. Like growing up, my parents were very religious. So I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. My parents were really
super religious. Yeah, super straight edge, super religious. And while I don't practice now, I learned a lot from being, around that as a child. It helped me, like us to be able to speak like this. It came from that. Comprehension, study, and all that. So it was all good and all great. But they were super straight led. So I'm not really the political guy, but we always will watch the news and different things just to know what's going on in the world. And the first president I can remember is Ronald Reagan. Then went from Ronald Reagan to the Bush, to the Clinton, to the other Bush, to Obama, and now this guy. I don't want to say his name, but this guy. And like, I never saw the news cycle so like crazy in my life until he got in office the first time. It was like every day it was something new. And then Biden got in office and it kind of was quiet. People always saying like, oh, they didn't do anything. It's like, no, they just didn't cause commotion and fear, and they didn't do that. So you never really knew what they were doing. And now for the last week, like I've had to turn social media off sometimes. I've had to turn the news off sometimes. I'm just like, I can't do this every day. Like just to protect my mental health, I can't do this every day anymore.
No, it's not right. And I don't think that he is a representation of the people. And I think that, those that did vote for him will find out,
Yeah, really fast. I had a really good friend of mine.
They'll find out.
A good friend of mine that grew up, he ended up playing in the NFL for a few years. And he, we were just talking, not necessarily who you voted for. And he was like, I'm a black man, so I want to vote for Democrats. That's just what I know. He's like, but my tax bracket, for me to be able to take care of my family the way I've been, kind of need to go that way. He's like, so I'm conflicted. And I was like, I understand that. I said, I'm not going to judge you for who you voted for, but just understand that it's a bigger play going on in the world. And, you got to be careful what you do, because I feel like everything's going to get burned down in the next 4 years. And
I think so too.
Forever to fix it,
I think so too. And I think it's super hard not to judge someone for who they voted for. I'm struggling with that in my life right now with some industry people.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that talk. Yeah.
Big time. Let's just talk about it right now.
Yeah. Hey, because these industry people, man, it's really hard for you to say you love me oh my God, Josh, I love you so much. I love what you're doing with Brown and Balance. I love all this stuff you're doing. But then you went that way. He couldn't, because
you can't have it both ways.
Everything
you can't have it both ways.
Everything about them does not love people that look like me.
Mm-mm.
Or people that are LGBT, or people that, like, trans. You can't. You know what I mean? Like, I will say this: this industry has taught me how to be a better man. Growing up, I can say I was very homophobic because of just my environment. I never saw gay men, women. I never saw it. So I didn't understand. And yeah, when I was younger, I probably used some words I probably shouldn't have used. Or I had some ideas and ideologies that, just came from, they were grandfathered in, right? Like my uncles, and they didn't. But now, as we got into this industry, I've met some people that I absolutely love, like love. And I tell them all the time, like, y'all make me a better person. Because, growing up, now I'm able to share with my sons how not to prejudge anybody, or how to not take for granted someone else's, decisions, or someone else's lifestyle, or someone else, whatever they're doing. Like, you look at them for who they are.
Yeah.
And, people like, I would love for you to have them on if you haven't, like Daddy Longlegs, Michael George, out in Utah. I'd love for you to just have a conversation. Or I know you've had Chris Cabrera on.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, those are people that when Josh was younger and ignorant to a lot of things, Josh would have never been around. But these are people I consider family now. And it's like, if you go against people that look like me or people like them, I can't support you in any kind of way. You won't be on my bar. You won't be at my events. There's not enough money you can give me to make me lose my morals. My dad growing up taught me a lot. You got to be yourself, be a man, stand on your own 2 feet. I won't follow the norm. I just won't follow the sheep. I got to go my own way. And yeah, this world we're living in now, these next 4 years are going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. And I'm hoping it's just a moment. I'm hoping it's just the 4 years and then we get back to some normalcy. But in the meantime, I do think, I had some guests on from a program called A Long Talk. And what these two gentlemen do is that their program is based around the kitchen table to end racism and hate at the kitchen table. It starts there. And it starts with people that look like me. It starts with white people. And it starts like, if I have uncle whoever over who is a jackass and has any kind, makes fun of women or anything, whatever it might be, to make it uncool.
Yeah.
Like, why are you saying that? It's not cool. Yeah. But actually calling people out, because the minute it's not okay, the minute, right now, if anything is the norm in the household that shouldn't be, that's where it needs to start.
I say this all the time too. I kind of, the only redeeming quality out of the 4 years around 2020 and now these next 4 is I know where I stand with everyone. I think that's the one thing that comes out of all of this that's actually good, because growing up, again, I didn't see a lot of racism. I was around black people all the time. So I didn't see racism until I became an adult. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of classism more than racism. I saw the rich black people, and then the middle class like us, and then the poor. I saw a lot of classism, but I didn't see a lot of racism because I was around people that looked like me a lot until I got a little older. My dad was like, you have to expand, man. You got to get off the block. You got to get out of your little 8-block radius. You got to get out the community. You got to start traveling and seeing things. And then that's when I started to experience some different things, that to show me, to kind of shape like, oh, this is what the world is really like. Because again, growing up the way we did, I was in a bubble. I was in a religious bubble and then like a class bubble, until until I got out in the world. And it's like, wow, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but it starts at the top. And it's like, if the top is exhibiting this, then that uncle that lives in the sundown town in Southern Illinois, he has no reason to, to change his beliefs, as ignorant as they may be. And sometimes they tell on themselves when they get to talking about their belief system. It's like, well, how could you even, that doesn't make sense. Right. But they still, because they don't see anything else. And again, somebody said on Twitter the other day, they was like, all of this because Barack Obama became the president. That you do know this is the cause of that. This is the cause of all. This is the effect from that cause. And I was like, made me really think, like, as progressive as we thought that this country is really not that progressive. When we drove down to see my brother, I had Jasmine Googling sundown towns. We drove through like 11 of them.
Did you really?
On our way down. Yeah. Cause we took 55 South straight down and we drove through about 10, 11 different sundown towns. And the town his facility is in, it wasn't, but it felt like it. Like I didn't want to get gas. I said, we're going to get back to Champaign and then we'll get some gas. I'm not doing this. I'm going to get some gas by the university where I know it's a little melting pot of people, but it felt like it. Like the town looked like it stopped in 1965. Like everything it looks like that. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like I haven't really seen that in person a lot. So when you see it, it's amazing and it's scary all at the same time.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Like when you look at the United States and where people vote and how they voted, you look at the big cities may have gone one way, but then all these little towns that, like you said, might be in their own little shit bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. I always laugh. Like, remember the movies, like, we grew up 80s, 90s, like those little high school football movies, like, and like the guys never leave that town. They're like superstars in that town. That's what some of those towns look and feel like. And it's like, wow, it's crazy to see that in real life. You know what I mean? To just witness that. It's a lot of stuff.
I think that the only thing that's going to make a lasting change is by disrupting.
Yes.
And just being disruptive. I'm sorry, but that's what I think. And I know for me, using my voice is what I have to do, right? If I hear any nonsense, which I always tried to do, but even tried harder, right?
But you
shut shit down.
I'm gonna give you your flowers like I always do.
You don't have to.
You don't use your voice, use your presence. And I think that's a bigger that goes bigger than words because brands and brand people and they could say a lot of shit, right? But it doesn't always come to fruition. There's no Chicago industry without you. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, really all of us are great in our own way, but you brought everybody together and you helped elevate everybody. Especially my generation coming up, you elevated all of it. I don't think any of us would be doing the things we're doing without your class and what you provide and just being an ear. Like, you could have been, okay, cool, we're going to charge you for this class. We're going to teach you guys. And then that's it. You didn't do that. Like, you've been in my life consistently the last like 12, 13 years. So, your presence and who you are lends to your disruption more than, like, I look at you and Lindsey Johnson kind of in the same way. Love Lindsey.
I love Lindsey too. Thank you. That's a really high compliment. Thank you.
Both of you all do that. Y'all really put the work in to help everybody, right? Like, and it doesn't feel like a charity case. It don't feel like, well, I'm gonna help this person over here because they might be disproportionately on this side or this side. You just do it as a blanket, and it's genuine. So that's why nobody could ever say anything bad about you.
Did you hear that, everybody? He'll punch you in the face. Thank you, Josh. I think that is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. And I learned so much from you and from everybody. And that's where I'm wealthy, is the people that are in my life that I'm constantly learning from, to be better. And I just appreciate it so much. I'm trying not to cry right now. So thank you.
Don't cry. I'll bring it back to make it funny. Like, you're great. Your husband, because he's in my fantasy league, I don't like him that much.
I know.
In the fall. I love him outside of the fall. Like it's January. Bowls in a couple of weeks. Me and Jamie will be friends in February and on.
Oh my God.
Come September, I'm not going to like him anymore.
I know. I don't know anything about sports at all, Josh. I just say go sports. I've never watched the Super Bowl. You know that?
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, now I have to throw a Super Bowl party and have y'all over.
No, I won't come. I'm not going to come. I won't even understand what the hell's going on. I wouldn't be any fun there.
That's the best part, because nobody watches the Super Bowl at a Super Bowl party. Like, it's just a party. We're hanging out in the Super Bowl on in the background.
I always go to the movies, or I go to the theater downtown Chicago. There's always great seats, really cheap. So that's when I do every year. I've seen Les Mis. If you name it, I just go. I'm more of a theater, and I go.
I just learned something new, but I did not know that. I just learned something new today. Wow.
Yeah. Ask
That's
JP.
great.
He'll be like, she doesn't know who's in this.
She's not coming.
She doesn't even watch the commercials. She don't care. She's not home. She does her own thing.
I got you. Me and Jamie's friendship will resume on February 10th, the day after the Super Bowl. But
there you go.
I don't want to talk to him.
That's fine. So good. Can you talk about, because you mentioned it, you know, when we find out that folks in our industry have voted a certain way, and I shared with you that I'm really struggling with that today, as I think you are as well. Can we tell our listeners maybe ways to manage that besides just getting hateful and really pissed off? Because it's hard. Because when you find that out, they're voting against your community.
Yeah, they're voting against human rights.
Culture, against your rights.
It's tough. It's hard. Like this election season has brought out a lot about a lot of people. Somebody we both know got called out. You know what I mean? Somebody that we love got called out. And it made it really tough to continue having conversations because I never saw that coming from that person. Like that hurt. That one hurt. You know what I mean? And I think it comes down to an individual choice. I think it comes down to what are you comfortable with? I don't want to condemn anybody. You have the right to vote and you have the right to side wherever you want for your personal interests. And I do understand it. But I've always been the type of person, I look at the greater whole. So if I know going this way is going to affect everybody I love, can't go that way. But that's just me, you know?
Right.
And unfortunately, everybody's not like you or me or some other people that we know. Like, and that's the sad part. You know, I can still be cordial with that person, but I don't think our friendships with people in that way will ever be the same again.
No, you know? It's damaged.
They'll never be.
It's damaged.
Yeah.
It's a little bit broken now. It's broken.
It's always like I always tell people if something came out about me or I did something really egregious in the industry, and I know that there are people that will back away, and there'll still be some people that'll stick around me as well. But I know that the people who back away, like I know if I did something super egregious, you and I would probably not be what we are. Right? Like you would still, oh, hey, Josh, but that'll probably be it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be, even if I get that. So I think everybody just has to, their moral compass has to really kick in, and then they decide, you know, how they want to proceed forward. It's really tough to tell people because, like I said, the one person that we're speaking about, you've been friends with that person way longer than I have. You know,
talking 28 years.
Yeah, that's somebody I love. Been to their home.
Same.
You know, everything, and it's like, ugh, man, you kind of put your foot in your mouth this time, buddy.
But I also feel like with that, you know, and I'm just talking about the industry now, not maybe the personal relationship, because they do bleed over for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that folks that put their foot in their mouth, maybe on social media where they shouldn't, on other people's pages, let's say, you know, whatever it might be, you might not get hired for that next gig.
You'll never get hired again.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it's going to hurt. Like for them, you might not be considered for that award. You might not be welcomed onto that panel that you've always wanted to be on. You might not see industry friends in your bar anymore. You might, you know, I think that's what will happen.
Yeah. And the one thing, to your point to that, I'm a side note that I would really love if that was an even playing field. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Somebody that looks like me, if I would have said certain things, I'm definitely never getting hired for anything ever again.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, because of society and some other people that don't look like me get a pass. And so I would really love for the people who are making those decisions, I'm sure some of them probably listen to this, but hey, look at it as the situation and not who it is.
Right.
Because I know I've had moments in this industry where I was getting ready to it was getting ready to get bad. I had a real moment, almost at Tails this year. And I had to catch myself because it was someone who did something to me industry-wise I didn't like. And I told them, next time I see you, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I saw them, but I saw them in the middle of the Ritz. So I was like, now Josh wanted to do what Josh wants to do.
I know. Yeah.
But Mr. Mixologist, Brown and Balanced Josh had to say, you know what, for the greater good, I got to walk away this time. And I have to, move forward because I know if I do what I want to do, I'm going to lose everything. And if I lose everything, the people who I can help aren't going to have the opportunities that I can, provide and can help them get. I just told a young bartender I hired this other night, I said, hey, man, I never had a me. So I want to give you me to help you kind of navigate your way through this. I kind of figured it out on my own. And then after I figured it out on my own, then I met people who helped guide the rest of the way. But in the beginning, I was just spitballing and trying to figure it out.
Right.
And so because of that, that keeps me, out of a lot of trouble because I know that there's another Josh out here somewhere.
Right.
That I can help and I can get forward. But I would just love some of those decision makers look at it from a case by case. Let's not blanket it. Let's blanket it and say, hey, this person did this. I don't care how many accolades they have. I don't care who they are, who they're connected to. They did this. They need to suffer the consequences.
Yeah. 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 And I think ultimately, and at some of those higher levels, when we're talking about some of like the bigger companies, that maybe they do get hired on may not even be aware. Seriously, the people that hire, we're not talking about brand industry trade, right? A brand ambassador that knows what's up. We're talking about a big company. They don't know.
Yep. They have no idea. None.
Right. And then their customer might not be the trade. It might just be
they're not even thinking about trade.
Just doesn't even know. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so,
it's a
I don't
slope.
wish anybody not well. I don't, but I don't have time for it anymore either. I am no one's mom but Paige.
Yep.
I am Paige's mom.
Yep.
That's it.
And the thing is, the decisions we make now are going to affect Paige. And they're going to affect Josiah and Kamora and Jaquan, my kids. They're going to affect them when they're our age. And the decisions we making now is putting them behind the 8-ball. It's putting them further and further back. And then when you already have, again, certain communities that are affected worse than others, now you're stepping them back 3 or 4 times on top of that. So it's just, I don't know. I never thought I would see our country like this. I knew we were never going to be completely right because of just the way the country was built. You know what I mean? We were never going to be 100% right. But I never thought that you can attack the police officers and get out of jail. My
God, I do not want to hear anybody that voted for Trump to say, I back the blue in the same sentence.
Yep.
Because it's complete. You're just a hypocrite.
Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, police officers were attacked. I'll never forget.
Someone died. Not just attacked. Someone lost their life.
Yeah. Police officers had heart attacks. Their mental health is, I couldn't even imagine. And again, I grew up I don't go around the police at all. I could breathe on a police officer and end up shot. But you guys got to attack them and now you come home. And the person who's had the highest office in the land is the person who's freeing y'all. That says a lot about agenda and what's going on in this world. And it really sucks. It's tough. I say we all just get up and let's just move to
France,
Costa Rica somewhere. France would be great. Hey, me and you just drinking cognac all day long, recording pod episodes. I'm all the way for that. Yeah, I'm all the way for that. Can I ask you a question? Now I'm going to interview you for a second. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And you don't have to answer totality. Would you ever bring the Academy back?
Would I bring the Academy back? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that it's on me to bring it back.
Okay. That's one question.
I feel like began something that was so beautiful and impactful, very selfishly to myself. I know for the community too, but those were the best times, some of the best times of my life.
Man.
I always look forward to entering the classroom. I was always happy to see alumni there. I was always happy to see people sitting on the floor because there was no more chairs in the room. I mean, It was so special. But I don't think that it's my time to bring it back. I think somebody else needs to step up and step in and put their twist on it. That's what I think with my support. That's what
we're going to talk offline about a possible Brown and Balanced version of the class. Now, I want people to understand I'm not trying to exclude people from stuff. And I think that's one misconception a lot of people have with Brown and Balanced. They think that because of what it is and people love it, they can't be involved in it if they're not brown. And that's not the case. Like I had a conversation at Speed Rack because we spoke about the Black the Rack shirts that I produced. And we wore them at Speed Rack. A lot of people bought them. And it was a message to say, hey, I'm not saying that the people who are here aren't talented and that they're not worthy of being here. What I'm saying is I would love to see people who look like me here on the main stage just as well. Somebody was like, well, I don't know if I should wear that shirt because I'm not Black. And I said, no, it actually makes a bigger impact if you wear it, because that put eyes on it that might not speak to me or don't know me or don't have a direct contact with me. And then now you're opening eyes for other people. So when I say I want to do stuff like the academy was the best thing happened to me because I didn't know anything about spirits like that. I knew cocktails. I knew how to make a couple of drinks. And I knew how to be fun behind the bar. But that 12 weeks, I learned a lot. You know what I mean? Like I learned a whole lot. And like I still use the book. I probably right behind me over here on the bookshelf. I still have my academy book. Yeah. And I still use it when I'm doing cocktail classes and things. I reference out of it. And I'm like, I would love for some Black bartenders to get the opportunity to do something like that, because in our city especially, there's such a big gap between the cocktail world and then that lounge world on the South and the West sides. It's such a huge gap, right? Even from myself and Danny DDO, we were speaking about this a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know, a lot of times bars where I come from, the lounges, these legendary lounges, like there's places like 50-Yard Line and President's Lounge and 606 and just bars that's been here 50 years, 30 years, 40 years. They don't know what a brand rep is. They don't have relationships with like a you. You know what I mean? They don't have that. And because they don't have that, there's a lack of trust there.
Got it.
And because of lack of trust, they don't want to necessarily buy their liquor through the distributor. They'll just go wholesale, get it, and they're just self-funding and they're doing their thing. And these bars are making money. They're turning and burning. There's people in there every night. Like there's some bars, City Life, Red Pepper, Licorice Lounge, Lil's. Like it's so many bars. And just on my side of town, I'm not even counting the West side. I'm just talking about deep South side that I want to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? And I was like, I think like an academy class would help that. So that's why I was wondering if you were going to ever bring it back, because I would love people to learn.
Somebody else needs to.
From the greatest.
I would be so excited, and I would be here as a sounding board for anyone that wanted to bring that back to life.
Heard that. We're gonna get a conference going real soon with myself and a couple other people, because I really would love, like, even if they don't take it, and because I mean the bars out here, it's a lot of niche bars and they have a lot of dope programming, so they might not take on to want to switch all the way over to doing cocktails and different things. Right. But the exposure. I was lucky to meet Danny, Charles, and Todd, and then to meet you, and then to meet Lynn, and then to meet everybody else. I got lucky and I cultivated it. Now I want to kind of be that conduit for people to be able to do that same thing. So we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk. Because to the logistics side of it, I don't know. But like, what I learned, like I said, I remember I met Tad the first day we was there. Yeah. I met Kyle. You know what I mean? There's so many people that I was able to
connect with, right?
Man, I wouldn't be here without it. So,
I miss those days. Those days. I do, but I'm going to tell you, I'm at the stage in my life. This is my natural hair color. It is gray. I'm done dyeing it. It doesn't even take color in my hair anymore. It has to be gray. It is what it is. No.
I get it. No, I get it.
Take the beast of a program. But I respect the hell out of anybody that wants to try to do it, and I wish them the best, and I will help.
I think we're going to talk to some mutual people around us. I have an idea. It's just a matter of how to do it, what you did to get started. I would love to do that. Because I want the game to be better whenever we all leave this crazy hospitality world and retire and just go off in the sunset. I want to leave it in better hands than when we
100%. I want that too. Yeah. I always wanted that.
Your nephew Josiah is bartending now.
That's so great.
He didn't tell me.
Online, yeah.
He sent me a video. He sent me a video of him. He's at Chili's. So he moved back. He moved back to Chicago. He was having some issues in Decatur. So he graduated college. He was having some issues down there, finding a job and stuff. And, he was getting ready to be just like his dad and make some decisions he probably shouldn't have made. And I said, no. Me and your mom, come on, just move back to Chicago. You can live with one of us. So I had to give up my office because his bedroom had turned into my office. But that's why I'm in the front room doing this interview with you.
That is so crazy. I love that I actually love that he's working at Chili's. So Paige had an interview at, what was it? Applebee's.
Hey, recently. Applebee's, Chili's, Bennigan's,
all of
J. Alexander.
What a great place to start your bartending career, because you're going to get so much thrown at you. All of those drinks have juices and syrups, and you got to shake them or they're freaking frozen. And then they've got drink specials and my God.
Like I
wish them the best.
Yeah.
That's a hard gig. It's not an easy gig.
He was trying to find a job. And so he got a server job. They just put one not far from the house.
Good.
And he was serving for like a month or two. And he never told me he got on the bar, and he sent me a video.
Good.
Actually bartending. And now he's getting full bar shifts. They got him training other people.
That's awesome.
And I told him, I said, hey, have you told him who your dad is? Yeah, I said, have you told me who your dad is? He was like,
tell me who your dad
He's like, I don't want to tell him. He's like, well, he said, I don't want to tell him because then the pressure's going to be on. They're going to be like, well, if your dad was bartender of the year and Brown and Balance and all this stuff he's doing, you should be great. So he was like, he's trying to get it on his own now. So but he is now. I tried to keep him away from this. Like I didn't want him to get into this. I always, like with our kids, we want them to do better and do different things than we did. And I didn't want to put the pressure on him to be a bartender, get into hospitality, but he loves it.
There's so much opportunity though. I feel like anybody that's in hospitality, by the way, anybody who wants to enter hospitality, you need to do it. You need to work like at the host stand. You need to be a server. My first job, I worked dish. Okay. I worked dish in Las Vegas at the Country Star.
Wow.
That was the only thing I could get. No one looked like me in dish either.
I guarantee they didn't. Yeah.
In that time, it was not normal to have any females working in the back.
Exactly.
So, but I did, because that was the only job I could get after working in nightclubs in St. Louis. Okay.
Wow.
And being a flight attendant and all the other shit that I did. And so I worked dish, but I learned so much. She's even just cleaning dishes. I washed dishes. I washed dishes until then I got promoted to be a server, and then I got promoted to work the bar. And that it was what their training was. You had to start there. And I recommend it to everybody. However you get your foot in the door, you do it.
Yep. And that's what I told him. I said, you're going to start at the bottom, and then I'll just see how your progression is. And once your progression is right, you can start coming with me. I said, because the one thing I never wanted for him was get opportunities because of who I am. I didn't want that. I'm all for nepotism a little bit, but I want him to really earn it. Like he put his Camp Runner application in. I said, Lindsay, don't give him no special treatment.
I'm going to call Lindsay and say, give him special treatment.
Yeah, I said, don't give him no special treatment. I said, I know he'll get in, but nah, don't treat him like we treat everybody else. I want him, I never want him to feel entitled.
Yeah.
And that's the thing now with a lot of kids now. Like we was growing up, I had to work for everything. My dad instilled a lot of like work ethic into me. Like I never saw my dad. I know he got sick, and I know he had moments, but like I never saw him take a day off work. Bills were always paid. He missed a lot of stuff coming up, basketball games, band concerts and stuff. I get it. But he worked his ass off to provide, for the family. And something I've done, and that's something I want my son to do. I never want him to have that. Oh man, my dad will get me in there. Oh, my dad will Oh, you know my dad, man. My dad, Josh, give me an
Right.
opportunity. I don't want that for him. You know, I want him to really earn it. Because I'm like, if you're jumping into this, you got some big shoes to fill if you're my son. So,
Yeah.
you know, because my big shoes came by accident. I had no idea the trajectory of my career would go this way. And all the things that have happened over the last few years, I never expected any of that. You know, I just was like, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to be me. That's
yeah.
it.
And that's all you
myself.
can do. And I think that's why you have had such longevity in this space, because you come always authentically.
Yep. No, I don't know how to be nobody else.
No.
I like me. I'm pretty cool. I like me. So, you know.
Yeah. And that's important though, right?
Yeah.
Like if you show up always as that same person, people know you're not playing that, you know, hey, no, this is me.
Yeah.
And that
I would love a lot of these young bartenders to learn that. Like, you don't have to play the game. Mm-hmm. You know, especially in the Black community, we get taught a lot, like, play the game and do what you got to do. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. No. The people I look up to in society, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, the Black Panthers, you know, those type of people, they didn't play the game. They were authentically themselves. And, you know, whether they were right or wrong or whether they did things always the correct way or not, they got the job done.
Yeah, they got the job done. And you knew who they were.
Yeah.
They weren't somebody different on a Tuesday as they were on a Friday.
Exactly.
Right?
Like I'm going to show up as me every day. I'm not. You're not going to catch me one day in a suit and and then the next day, you know. Nah, I'm gonna be Josh. I'm gonna be me all day long. You know. And if you don't like it, that's cool. You know. And if you do like it, hey, let's keep moving forward.
Well, I know that you're going to continue to do that. What's next for you, Josh?
Getting this Brown and Balance book finished. I'm going to chronicle all the cocktails from every Brown and Balance event from 2017 until what's the last one I just did? Till 2022. I think I'm gonna take 23, 24, and that'll be like volume 2. So that's one thing. You inspire me, so I'm actively recording episodes for the podcast to try to start dropping episodes come this Saturday because it's Black History Month on the way. Yeah. So getting ready to start dropping episodes on that. We spoke earlier. I'm not going to jinx myself. I'm knock on wood. A really good opportunity, hopefully coming up very soon.
Yes.
And just keep pushing the culture forward. You know, just keep trying to reach out and meet as many Black bartenders as I can, and you know, be there and be that voice for them when they feel like, you know, they can't say certain things.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you know, I respect you and I love you to pieces. I
love you too.
I'm just so grateful that you came on today. It just warms my heart.
Every time you ask me to come on here, we'll come here and talk all day long.
Thank you, Josh.
Well, I haven't seen you since the wedding.
I know. We need to change that. It's not
we got to change that. Yeah, I have not seen you since. And that was a great day too, by the way.
That was a great day.
I got my lifelong dream of walking in somewhere to the Ric Flair music. So
that was hysterical. Okay, can we set the table because people don't know what the hell we're talking about? Right
so one of our really good friends, Ramon Henderson and Natasha Henderson, got married. What was it? That was what, March?
Oh, come on. It's been no.
Was it March?
No.
April. It was like March, April. Because it wasn't like warm outside yet.
I don't remember when it was.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So they got married, and Ramon asked me to be a groomsman. And because I'm crazy, I said, no, I'm not going to be just a groomsman. I will be the flower man. We're going to start. No, we're not doing flower girls anymore. We're going to have a flower man. And I was looking up flower man stuff on TikTok and all the other stuff, just kind of see different things they were doing. But I'm a big WWE fan. Ramon is a big WWE fan. I've been watching wrestling since the 80s.
Both are, yes.
Yeah, I've been watching wrestling, man, since the 80s. Now, I remember the first time I ever saw wrestling, I didn't know what it was. And I said, hey, you got the championship belt. I'm going to walk into the Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. I'm going to walk into his music, and I'll be the flower man.
You did. It was so good. I was
tried to keep it a
wedding, so I had a front row seat to that.
We tried to keep it a secret, but I was trying to hide the belt under my suit. But then when it came out, it was, I got to walk the runway. So anybody out there, if you don't know who Ric Flair is, just YouTube Ric Flair entrance. And you'll hear the music, you'll see the belt, you'll see all of that. And I got to portray that. So that's one thing off the bucket
friend,
list.
Josh. You're a good friend. My God.
I try.
You do a good job. Well, I want to wish you just some great health and a lot of peace. And I want you to come on again. And
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see you hopefully soon. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do a live show. I'm going to have you on. Now, my show is typically, my podcast is called Bottoms Up with Mr. Mixologist. It's mostly Black creatives, Black bartenders, artists, things like that. You are the exception because you're coming on. Yeah.
I'll come on.
You're going to come on.
And where can my listeners find this?
They are going to find it everywhere. Yes, they are going to find it everywhere that you can hear your podcast. So Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. First season, it will be 12 episodes. That's what I said. And it's going to be all audio. As I build some capital up so that any brands that want to sponsor this, let me know. We're going to start to do video and live shows then, and then we'll move over to the YouTube space and all the other stuff. So the first season is to get my chops and to kind of learn podcasting because this is a whole new world for me. I don't like hearing my voice that much, but everybody keeps wanting to talk to me. So, so I'm getting used to interviewing and having these conversations with people and making them natural, like our conversation. I think that's the one big thing about your podcast, and definitely mine will be conversational. It won't be just me asking a bunch of surface questions and getting standard answers. Like, we're going to have real talk, and it's going to be really uncut. There's going to be a lot of things said, but it's really just going to be bringing all the listeners into the mind of Black bartenders and really showing what we go through, how a lot of us have had some very humble beginnings to get where we are in this industry. So it's going to be good.
Well, listeners, pay attention here. You need to follow Josh Davis on all social media under Mr. Mixologist. Yeah.
Yes. And Brown and Balanced.
And Brown and Balanced. Yeah. And then you need to check out his upcoming podcast launch. Did you say, will it be offered everywhere podcasts are, or where are you starting?
Everywhere. Okay, I'm starting. Everywhere. I'm doing Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. If you have any of those, you will be able to hear us.
And it's called Bottoms Up.
Yep. Brown and Balance presents Bottoms Up with Mr. Mixologist.
Perfect. Well, make sure, listeners, if you follow me, you've got to follow Josh.
You have to, or we'll come and get you.
We'll come get you. All right, friend. All right. Love you much. Thank you.
You
Cheers to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Served Up is brought to you by Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Produced by Zunu.online. Music by We Killed the Lion can be found on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to be notified of our future Served Up episodes. Cheers.